I flew 20 hours on a birthday girls trip and was basically told I invited myself. First, I want to say thank you to everyone for the love on my recap video. I worked really hard on it, as you guys can see, and it's showing in the comments and the views. And I appreciate you guys for wanting to hear my story. So I'm gonna get into it. This is someone I've known for a long time. We had reconnected again a few years ago. And once we had reconnected, everything seemed cool. In 2025, we were both turning 30, and she decided to do a birthday trip to Bali. I decided to do a birthday trip to Tulum, and also a homeless food drive. But also keep in mind that we both planned our trips around the same time. My trip was done planning around February, and I believe her trip was like, she sent out invites around like February also. Around the month of February, she had added me to her notes invite, and that's how I knew about the Bali trip. Shortly after that, she kept coming to my house to plan this trip. Like, I was giving her advice on what to do. I was calling people all the way in Bali, using my having to pay for international calls to help her and get information on restaurants, flights, and all that other stuff. Please keep in mind, at this point, I was not supposed to go on a trip. I had told her, I couldn't go because I was planning my own Tulum trip, which I had paid for in full. Now, just a side note, it really has nothing to do with the story, but when I was going on my trip, something happened with the airline to where my trip had to be canceled. So I ended
Oh, this one right here, Messy with a capital Messy. She said birthday trip on deck, bags packed, vibes ready, only to land in Bali and get hit with the spiritual question, why are you here? Girl, what? Now let's break this down real quick because the internet is loud saying you invited yourself, sis, but hold on. How can you help plan a trip, switch locations from your original Tulum to Bali, and suddenly you're the extra in somebody else's movie? Nah, something in the group chat is not adding up. Either the friend did a last minute switch up and forgot to update the energy, or sis read, we should go as book your flight immediately, because ain't no way I'm flying international just to feel uninvited. That's not a vacation. That's emotional damage with a passport stamp. And let's talk about the real issue, communication. If I'm booking flights, securing accommodations, and coordinating details, you don't get to act brand new when I touch down. We're not doing surprise the confusion at the airport. Now, if she's truly invited herself, that's a whole different sermon, because you can't force your way into somebody else's plans and then be shocked when the vibe is ice cold. But if the friend switched up after all the planning, friendship audit immediately. Receipts would be dropping like a mixtape. Me personally, the moment I feel unwanted, I'm pivoting. New hotel, new itinerary, and now I'm on a solo birthday trip, living my best life. Because one thing about it, I'm not about to be uncomfortable on a trip I paid for. So what do y'all think? Did sis invite herself, or did her friend pull a plot twist? Comment below.
Up getting all my money back. I still booked the trip to Tulum, but when I had booked it later on, surprisingly, it was thousands of dollars cheaper. I wanted to go on a yacht for my birthday in Tulum, but instead of actually putting that money towards the yacht like I wanted to do, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be a good friend and I'm going to put this money towards Bali. So I started putting that money towards Bali, and I got my flight. Only reason why I know what flight to get is because I was invited and put into the notes. But anyways, I helped her plan it, and then I booked my flight. But mind you, Bali is not around the corner. Bali is a 20-hour flight. Day of the trip, we all fly out. We're all on different airlines. Well, I'm on a different airline from the other girls. We were all supposed to land at the same time. Whatever happened, I end up landing before everyone else, except for one other girl who also took a different airline from all of us, and she got there a couple hours before I did. So once I got to the Airbnb, this is what I walk into. 2 tiny twin-sized beds. Now also, we're in the continent of Asia. Anyone that knows Asia knows that everything in Asia is smaller. So don't think US twin-sized bed. Think Asian twin-sized bed. Now, just looking at me, you guys can see I'm big as fuck, right? I'm almost 300 pounds. I know my body, and I know what I can comfortably fit in and what I can't fit in. So, off rip, walking into this room, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I knew I was going to be in a shared room, but I've never in my life seen a shared room with twin-size beds in it. That's the part that was confusing for me. Please keep in mind, before I had even got to the airport, I landed at like 12 a.m. the day of her birthday. And while I was at the airport, I texted her, happy birthday, happy Bali birthday, baby, or whatever. Please keep that in mind because this message is going to be important for later on in the story. But as I'm in the Airbnb, I basically text her and I'm like, hey, boo, I'm texting her about the bed. I'm like, hey, boo, the bed isn't what I thought it was. I can't physically fit in the bed. Is there like, can one of the smaller girls switch rooms with me and, you know, be accommodating or whatever? A few girls on the trip were small in size. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe one of the girls might want to switch, you know, or whatever. I've always, my mom has always told me growing up, closed mouths don't get fed, axe in the door shall be open. So I'm just texting her, hoping for some type of like remedy. But also, we're in Bali, and honestly, I could sleep on a cold, hard floor anywhere. So it's not like an issue. It's just like closed mouths don't get fed. So ask, and maybe someone might want the twin size beds. Who knows? Like, and then we could like move on from that. I'm just asking for some type of resolution here. And instead of having a normal conversation with me, this girl texts me back and says, it's given a little ungrateful for a bed that I paid for? You're losing me. When she said I was ungrateful, it completely pissed me off because I'm like, ungrateful? Me? That's not making sense. And I was confused on how I was being ungrateful just by like asking a question. Like, it's not like I'm not complaining here. I'm just simply asking the question. Would anyone else like to switch? It pissed me off so bad. I went in the bathroom and cried that night. And I had plans to make everyone on that trip miserable for the whole trip. But then after going to sleep and waking up, I kind of figured like, we're in Bali. Maybe she's like overwhelmed with planning this trip and it's her birthday. She probably feel like I'm coming to her with complaints on her birthday. I'm like, you know what? It's not that serious. Like, we can have a conversation about this later once we get back to America. We're in Bali. I spent thousands of dollars to be here. It's her birthday. I love this girl. So I'm like, it's really not something we can't talk about. So I put a mental note in my head to make sure I have a conversation with her about that back in New York. But as the trip went on, I continued to enjoy my trip. And we had ourselves a good old time, which is why a month later when she told me that I invited myself, I was like, huh, girl? And that's where everything went left and everything blew up. So I want to answer this question real quickly. She had said, why did you have to share a room when everyone paid the same amount as you, first come, first serve? Now, everyone didn't pay the same amount. We had an Airbnb. There was 5 rooms in the Airbnb. Like I told y'all in my first part, I wasn't originally going on this trip. Once she had told me she was going to Bali and she told me it was like 3,000 plus, I said, I don't know about that. I'm going on my own trip and I already paid $3,000 to go on this trip. Now, like I said, the trip ended up getting canceled, and when I rebooked my Tulum trip, it ended up being $800, from $3,000 to $800. So that's why I said it ended up being thousands of dollars less. So I was like, okay, cool. Now I can put this money towards Bali. So then that's when I put my money towards Bali. By that time, it was like June, maybe July. By that time, there were 6 other people that was going on the trip who already put down their deposit for the Airbnb. Now, there was single rooms and there were shared rooms. Now, everyone was supposed to share a room because, again, it's 5 rooms and 7 girls. Everyone was supposed to share a room besides one person or maybe 2 people. They paid to have their own rooms, and everyone else was supposed to share a room. Now, a little note. From jump, I wanted to share my own room. I had told her that. I even have the text messages. But I'm gonna show those later on in my other story time parts. I had texted her from the beginning, like, I want to be in my own room. I know myself. I wanted to be in my own room and I wanted to pay for my own room. She kept telling me she didn't know because this amount of people was supposed to be going and the rooms were already allocated and all this other stuff. So cool, I don't mind sharing a room if I have to share a room. Like, it's not that serious. But some people paid $400 something to be in their single room. Some people paid $200 and change to be in the shared room. The only option for me at the time that I started booking my stuff was the shared room. So I accepted the shared room. But I did not know that shared room meant twin-sized bed. I go on trips a lot. And I have friends that I normally go on trips with, and we have no issues. I always go on trips with them. And we've been in shared rooms multiple times. Even in Tulum, we were in a shared room with my two best friends, and we did not have twin-sized beds. So that's why it was confusing. And also on the site, it said double bed. On the Airbnb booking, it said double beds. So I was not expecting to walk into twin-sized beds. Had I known that twin-sized beds were going to be on the menu, I would have declined. Not because I don't fuck with her, not because I didn't want to go, but just because I know my comfortability, and it's like, I don't want to be sleeping like a mummy. So that's just basically what it was. Now, granted, when I got there and I looked through all the rooms, every single room had one big king-sized bed besides mine. Mine was the only room that had two beds in it, two twin-sized beds. And my thing is, if everyone was supposed to be sharing a room, why everyone's beds not set up the same way? Why everyone's beds has one bed and mine is two separate twin size? Like, I was confused. And she didn't tell me what room I had until I landed, which kind of made me think this was like premeditated. You waited to the last minute to tell me what room I was going to get, because you knew that that's not something I would choose for myself. So you made it so I had no choice but to take this. Just to clarify a lot of things, because people have a lot of questions and a lot of people are confused. So one, people are asking me, was I added to the trip late? Yes, but no. There was another girl, her actual sister, who was added after me, who sent in her deposit for the Airbnb after me. So I wasn't the last person on the trip. So if the rooms were allocated by first come, first serve, I shouldn't have gotten the twin size bed regardless. Everybody's asking what was her response when I told her that I was coming. This is what it was. As you can see, she tells me, oh, it's lit, I'm hyped, you got your flight, as you can see in the screenshot. The good thing about getting new phones is that when you pay for your phone, you can keep it. I'm recording on my 17 now. This is my 15 or 16 or something that I had. Yeah, I have all the messages from a year ago. So yeah. Also, as far as the bed situation, why did I expect people who paid for single rooms to change their rooms to shared rooms? I wasn't thinking that at all. Again, like I said in my first part video, I was raised as closed mouths don't get fed, ask and you shall receive. Everybody has their little quirks to them, to where they don't like certain things. So for whatever reason that somebody wanted to change their room, whether it had been the sun was beaming too hard in the thing, or the room was too close to the front door, or whatever. Some of the rooms had two doors, one in the front, one in the back. Mine didn't. That the way you could get out. Somebody probably couldn't have liked that. So for whatever personal reason people wanted to switch a room, I just raised the concern that my bed was like small. So in case anybody wanted to switch a room, they can think of me and they know. And this is another thing. I had stated that in the messages, and when she said that nobody wanted to switch a room, I said, cool, I'll make it work. Because again, like I told you guys, even though the bed caught me off guard, the bed wasn't a argumentable issue, if that makes sense. It was shocking, but like I said, I could sleep on the floor if I needed to. Like, let's just be real. I was just looking for some type of simple remedy just in case. Like, I didn't feel like it was that serious. Now, also, I do want to clarify something in the last video when I said, oh, I feel like this was premeditated. I do want to correct myself because I don't think that this was a plotted plan from like months ago to make me uncomfortable or to make things awkward with me. I think that closer to the time, she probably found out that this was a twin bed, and that's what happened. Now, people are saying she probably sent me the notes list because I was helping plan, and not because I was actually invited. The thing about that was she sent me the invite as an invite from jump, and I told her that financial reasons, I probably wouldn't be able to come. But I will try to make something shake. I will try to swing something. I told her that. And don't look too deep into the planning word. She already had an itinerary that she sent in the notes. She had a list of what flight she wanted to take, where she wanted to go. The only thing that she needed help with was securing these appointments and figuring out what days to go to where and how the schedule would be situated. And I was helping her do that. One thing you guys need to understand that this is from February all the way. I didn't get my flight until June, July-ish. So from June to July, multiple things were happening. We were spending a lot of time together. We had went to Beyonce's Cowboy Carter toy at this time. We would do weekly laundry together. We would go to like barbecues and things like that. We were together. So this Bali trip and this Bali thing was very much the topic of our conversation almost every time we were together. She always knew that I would try and make it. But to take it a step further, this is the conversation we had right before I booked my flight. She had then subsequently again brought up to me. We were in a conversation about something totally different. She brought up Bali to me and said, sis, I wish you were going. It's in the screenshots. She said, I wish you were going. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I was too. And then we went into the conversation about how we were going to try and secure me a flight. Because again, the flight to Bali was like $1,300. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm adopted. My biological mom messed up my credit. Even to this day, it's like shot. So we were trying to figure out ways for me to pay for this flight without me having to shell out a whole bunch of money at one time. I'm a mother also, so again, I'm on a budget. I have my own trip. I'm doing a homeless giveaway as well for my birthday. So there's a lot of financial things going on at this time. So we were trying to find a way to secure a flight for me that I didn't have to pay a whole bunch of money out of pocket. Now, people were saying I shouldn't have wrote her before she got there about the bed. One thing y'all not understanding is that Asia from America is 13 plus hours, not including the 2 hours you gotta wait for customs and your bags, and then the 2 hours to the Airbnb. The reason why we didn't arrive to Bali in time was because their flight in Dubai got canceled. So they had to wait till the next day in Dubai to get on a new flight, then be on that flight for 9+ hours, and then get to the Airbnb. It took them a whole extra 24 hours from the time that I got there for them to arrive. How was I supposed to wait to bring that up? I don't understand. By that time, I would have been already sleeping in the bed for probably 24 hours at this point. So bringing it up after wouldn't have made no sense to me. And also, in my mind, I'm not thinking that this is an issue because, again, at this point, it's not really an issue. Like I said, like, it's just like, I'm just asking in case someone might want to change when they get here. Like, I don't know. I'm just asking. Like, I don't know. I just grew up in a time where there's no such thing as a dumb question. This is what they told us. I was told you're supposed to advocate for yourself always. I was told that you can communicate with your friends. I guess it's different now in 2025. I don't know, with the new generation. I don't know how that works, but yeah. So that was just to clear up a bit of things, because you guys were seeming a little confused. But the screenshots will be down below. She very much knew I was going to be there. She knew I was going to be there before. I flew 20 hours on a birthday girl's trip to Bali and was basically told I invited myself. So boom, if you haven't seen part 1, basically I was invited on a birthday trip to Bali, and when I bought up the sleeping arrangements, I was basically called ungrateful. But because it was her birthday, I didn't make a big deal of it. I decided to be a great friend and just put it behind me, but also made a mental note that I needed to have a conversation with her about it later on. I literally said I would make it work. I slept on the bed. I participated in the excursions, and I didn't make no one feel uncomfortable. I participated in literally almost everything, because at the end of the day, I was there to celebrate her. At the end of the day, it was her birthday. Something important to know also is, while this is going on, my stepfather is actively dying. Like, he was in hospice as I was in Bali. When we got back from Bali, we got back November 13th. By November 15th, my stepfather passed away. So that obviously pushed a lot of things to the side and pushed a lot of things in my mind to the back burner, because this is what I need to handle. Now, also, one thing you guys don't know about me is that I am an autopsy assistant. Death care work is my line of work. So when my stepfather passed away, I was basically put in charge of the funeral, basically. So I'm doing all that and I'm dealing with all that. So after like a month, I finally decided to reach out to her to kind of like have a conversation about what happened, about her calling me ungrateful. Because the ungrateful word really stuck out to me, because anyone that knows me, they would never, ever, ever describe me as ungrateful. I can be called a lot of things, but ungrateful, never been one of those. So I text her, hey boo, do you mind having a conversation about what happened in Bali? Something along those lines. And she immediately texts me back and is like, yeah, we can have a talk about Bali. I need you to send me money for this, that, and the third. So in my mind, I'm like, huh? Like, I'm lost for 2 reasons. One is like, I'm talking about having a conversation with you and you just randomly bringing up money. And then 2, I'm like, why are you asking me to pay you for things that I already paid for? Like, I'm confused. So basically she starts going down the line talking about, oh, I paid for ATV and I paid for transportation and I paid for food and I paid for this and that and the third. So I started scrolling up in the messages and started responding back to when she kept telling me prices and I was sending the money. So I'm responding to it like, okay, you told me food costs such and such, and then I sent you the money. So I'm confused on what we're talking about here. If you guys want me to go into depth and put like the screenshots of the payments and all the payments I made, I can do that for you guys as well. But in my head, I'm like, this is just wild, because like, I just want to come to you and have a conversation and tell you that what you said about me hurt my feelings, because I feel like you were attacking my character. Whether you felt like me texting you was annoying, which I can admit it probably was annoying, but to say I'm ungrateful, that's never been my character, and I felt very hurt by that. So for me to bring that to you and you just dismissing me in a conversation and then saying a whole bunch of off the wall stuff, I'm like, girl, you're weird. So then she starts getting into how this person said this about me, this person said that about me. They was talking about how much I paid for this and how much I paid for that. And then I'm just looking at her like, how do people know how much I paid for anything? Like, that's a conversation, that's business between me and you. No one else on this trip should know how much I paid for stuff. And regardless, we're talking about nothing right now. Like, all you have to do is say like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry for making you feel that way, but this is how I felt, woo. And then we could have had that conversation and it just would have been that. But for you to be like, oh, you're not entitled to feel how you feel because this is my trip and I upfronted the Airbnb and this, that, and the third, and all this other stuff. I'm like, huh? Like, I still gave you the money for my portion for everything. So what are you saying? So I told her basically, let's go down the line. If you feel like I owe you some money for something, let's go down the line and let's see how much I owe you so I can send you the money, and then I can express how I feel without there being any problems. So she keeps saying no, 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 no. She doesn't want to go through the list of what I owe her. But I'm actively asking her, like, so I can send you your money back. So there's no issues. So we can put that to rest and we can move on to something else. Please let me know, what do I owe you? Because I will send it to you right now. Like, I swear, I will send it to you right now. But also at this point, I'm not even really like feeding into the little petty things that she's telling me that other people were saying about me. I'm not even caring about it. What I really want to have a conversation about was how the fact being called ungrateful didn't sit right with me. Then she goes on to say that I told you that me and a couple of my friends were going to Bali, and the next day you booked your flight. This is what she said verbatim. I'm repeating it verbatim. She said, I told you that me and a couple of my friends were going to Bali, and the next day you booked your flight. So I'm reading the message like, wait, are you trying to say that I invited myself on this trip? Like, is that what you're telling me? At no point did I think that I was inviting myself on a trip. I thought that I was going to Bali with someone who wanted me there. So now at this point, the argument isn't even about the bed. It isn't about me being cold and grateful. Now the argument was whether I was invited to this trip in the first place or not. And this is someone I've known for 20 plus years. So just even hearing this was like crazy to me. I'm like, huh? Now, during this conversation, I start bringing up the fact that I invited her to my birthday trip. She didn't come. And then I invited her to the rest of my birthday festivities, and she decided not to participate. Now, this is where things just start losing me, because she starts saying, oh, you did the homeless food drive, the food give back away or whatever, and God bless your soul. But that's just not something I wanted to do. Now, for a little context behind that, right? I don't even really want to put her business out there like that. But just a little bit of context to why that stood out to me is the fact that the whole reason why me and her reconnected 5 years ago was the fact that she had got cancer. And I couldn't stomach the fact of losing my friend and we wasn't speaking. That brought tears to my eyes, for real. So I'm just like, so you didn't do anything for me for my birthday, like not even give me a card, a balloon, nothing. You didn't come to my birthday trip. You didn't even come to support me feeding the homeless. And then you tell me, after everything that God has brought you through, saved you from death, you're going to tell me that feeding the homeless is not something you want to do? And then also in the same breath saying that I'm ungrateful? It just was not clicking to me. I'm sorry, it just was not clicking for me. Because how I feel about it, if there should be anyone out here on their knees thinking God giving back, it should be her. And I say that respectfully. I swear to God, I say that respectfully. But when she said that, I'm just like, you saying this to me and then you're turning it around, making it seem like I'm ungrateful? Then she starts being sarcastic, like, well, I was worried about my own trip. Maybe next year for yours and all this other stuff. Maybe maybe next year we'll do something, this, that, and the third. But this year was about me. And I'm like, wow. Because I could have made it about me too and just went on my trip and did my big one. And I'm just like, it's just so crazy. After that, I never responded to her. A couple of days later, she starts gaslighting me saying, oh, I'm in a meeting right now about grieving, and I feel like you're in the acute stages of grieving, so I have to handle you differently, this, that, and the third. I never responded to it. I just blocked her because, Moral of the story, don't spend thousands celebrating people who don't want you there, and make sure the people that you're celebrating actually want you there. And I would just like to say one last thing, for everybody saying that I shouldn't have brought up the fact of the Airbnb on her birthday. I just want to let you guys know that you guys are bad friends. There would never be a day, whether it be my birthday, God's birthday, Kingdom Come's birthday, whoever birthday it is, there would never be a day that where my friend is uncomfortable and they bring me their complaints and they can't, especially if it's a quick, fast remedy, it would never be a day that they can't do that with me. I don't care who day it was. I also hosted my own trip a week before hers with my friends. If you guys go watch my story time on that, someone came on a trip who basically gave my friends hell, and my friends came to me with the complaints, and I moved accordingly of it. Just because it's your birthday does not mean that your hosting duties are not required of you anymore. I suggest that if you do not want to be the one to have the hosting duties on your birthday, have someone host your trip. Otherwise, you are the host and you are the person that people are going to come to for everything, whether it be what time is this, where we're going, whatever it be, you are always going to be the first person people refer to. And if you do not want that, you should not host trips. There's never been a day in my life where I was too much about me to where I couldn't see what other people were going through. And I feel like that's what separates me from y'all. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with knowing that when it comes to me and my friends, the group of friends that I have, we can communicate with each other. We can listen to each other. We can share our complaints with each other without other people feeling mad or feeling like people are stepping on their toes. And I love the fact that that's reciprocated in my actual friendships, people who I've been friends with for years. And although this was a friendship that, we reconnected and we tried to make it work, it didn't work. And that's okay too. Like I said, I just know that certain things separate me from other people, and that's okay. It's a learning curve, and I now know that I will never be going on a trip with her again or anyone she knows. I truly dislike social media because you guys take information and then add things to it and then assume things. So let's go through this timeline one more time so you guys understand and stop acting a bit silly. In February, I'm going to add dates and times now so you guys can understand. In February, we were having a conversation about Beyonce. Beyonce was going on her Cowboy Carter tour. We wanted to go because me and her, we loved Beyonce since we was kids. We know every single choreography, every single song. We did the dances, all that type stuff. So Beyonce released her Cowboy Carter tour and we were talking about going on tour. I wanted to sit front row. She could not pay for those Beyonce tickets because she had just paid for her Bali flight. Boom. This is the first time Bali is bought up. She comes out of nowhere and says, I just booked my Bali flight. I can't pay for my Beyonce ticket. Are we clear? Okay. I expressed interest in wanting to go to Bali. She sends me the invitation to go to Bali. Once I read the invitation and I see that it says 3K to 6K total, I then text her back. It's in the messages. I posted them. I then text her back, oh my gosh, why is Bali so expensive? And she says, yeah, wooty wooty woo. That then starts the conversation of, I might not be able to come because I have my own trip that I'm going on. Cool? Cool. One thing to note is that this girl lives in my building, 2 floors up. I live on the 4th. She lives on the 6th. She lives in my building. Me and this girl see each other every single day. Okay, guys? Every single day. And when we see each other every single day, we are talking about Bali. Are you guys clear? Because I'm seeing her every single day, now I get wrapped into helping her plan the Bali trip. I was not added to the notes to help plan. I decided to help her plan, being a good friend, knowing that I could not come to her trip. So to supplement that, I was a good friend and decided to help her secure her appointments in Bali. Are we clear? I was not added to these notes to help her plan. She never asked me to help her plan. I was never supposed to help her plan. It just worked out that way for me because I wanted to do something for her on her birthday. If I could not make this trip, I'm going to do something for you. At least the very least I can do is help you plan the trip, right? Are we clear? Are we clear? In May, February, the invite was sent. May, my trip was canceled because Mexico was snatching up tourists in Mexico. So American Airlines canceled flights to Tulum, which is why my trip was canceled. When Cheap Caribbean cancels my trip, the first person to know about it is the birthday girl. I immediately text her and I tell her that my flight was canceled. Here are the messages. Not my flight, my complete trip was canceled. As I'm telling her that, I tell her that I'm kind of mad because I fully paid for my birthday dress. This is why when y'all saying last minute, it's not clicking to me because last minute never gave me my birthday, and my birthday dress was fully paid for by February for October. All of this stuff was full paid for. I'm not last minute with nothing. And in the messages, you can see her say, wear your dress. So I asked her, I tell her, it's a summer dress. My birthday's in October and we live in New York City. How am I going to still wear this summer dress? She then responds back and says, Bali. And not only does she respond and say Bali, she adds razzle dazzle and put it in a specialized font. Guys, come on, we have to read the screenshots. She puts it in a specialized font. I'm still not on the trip though. Later on, look at the screenshots. We're talking about watching a movie together, right? And she comes out of nowhere and says, oh my gosh, I wish you were coming to Bali. My thing is, people who don't want people to go somewhere with them, they don't usually keep bringing it up. Like, oh my gosh, I want you to come, I want you to come. They would just not talk about it. Like, that just makes sense, right? So when she keeps pressing me about she wants me to come on this trip, I then explain to her that, okay, I'm getting this refund. I'll put the refund towards Bali. And she agreed and said, yes, that is smart. Here are the messages. Another thing to note, I do not get this refund back until June. Guys, I do not get this refund back until June. My trip was canceled in May. I didn't get the refund back until June. The refund did not come 2 days, did not come 10 days later. It came back months later because Cheap Caribbean was trying to keep my money. I have a story time of that posted last year in August that you guys can refer to. This is not things I'm making up. These are facts. I posted the story time because they had me so mad because they was trying to keep my money. So I did not get this back until June. So from May to June, it was always a understanding that I will use my refund to put it towards Bali, guys. If you guys need more proof, here is the proof. Here's another screenshot of her asking me, Kwa, is this your flight? I'm Kwa. Hi, guys. If you didn't know, I'm Kwa. Of her saying, is this your flight? And I say, yes. So clearly this is confirmation that I already have my flight. She then lists a couple names and say, I'm trying to persuade these people to get on your flight. That means that I can't remember how many names she listed. I'm going to put the screenshot in. It was either like 3 or 4 names. 3 or 4 people who went on the trip still didn't have flights and I had my flight already. And then she sends a subsequent message that says, this person just booked on Emirates. Now a 4th or 5th additional person is now getting their flight after I got my flight. So when you are saying late and last minute, it's not making no sense. If you want additional proof, in this message, you can see she puts in a list who is confirmed to go and who is still pending. I am number 3 on that list. And there are maybe 4 other people behind me. And there are still 2 people pending on the list, guys. We have to read to comprehend, not just read to react. We have to read to understand this stuff. I was not put in the notes because I was planning. I was put in the notes because I was invited first. Because I saw that I would not be able to make her trip due to financial reasons, I then decided to help her being a good friend so it wouldn't just be like I didn't do nothing for her birthday, because I'm not a bad friend. You guys have to, and I said this in order in my first video. I said I was invited, I declined, and I was helping. I said it in that order on purpose. I didn't know I had to draw it out with crayons with every little detail for you guys. I didn't know that. But guys, I was not putting this note because I was planning. I helped her, yes, because I didn't want to be a bad friend and not do nothing for her birthday. But I was invited on this trip. Now, as far as the rooms being allocated, from the beginning, look at the screenshot from the invite. It tells you that there will be, because of the limited space, there will be 2 people to a room. All rooms were filled. In the beginning of this trip, 10 people in total were supposed to go. 10 people in total. There's 5 rooms. That means 2 people to a room. This is why all the rooms were allocated. I was a part of the 10. All the rooms were allocated and I could not get a single room. As time went on, her friends started dropping out of the trip. Someone the night before we were supposed to leave sent her, "Hey boo," text, "I'm not showing up." So as time is going on, people are dropping out of this trip. Here's the screenshots where it says, "People are dropping out. I'll let you know if you can have your own room." And then I respond, "Yes, please. I will definitely pay for my own room." The reason why I could not have my own room from jump was because it wasn't supposed, no one was supposed to have their own room. People started dropping out, and then the option of a single room arose. And I had expressed my interest from jump that I want to be by myself. Now, with your logic of adding people on last minute, as you guys see, I was confirmed and there were 2 other people pending. If I was number 3 to be confirmed, shouldn't I have got first dibs on a single room? Right or wrong? Right or wrong, guys? Are you guys understanding my point now? I don't know if I didn't explain it well. Maybe I didn't. I think I explain things well when I get angry. When I'm trying to stay calm, I think I don't do it right. I need to get angry so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. Guys, I'm back with part 3 of this video. Hopefully it's the last one. I recorded this part twice, and both times you couldn't hear me. So hopefully 3rd time's the charm, please. So I told you guys how she didn't come to my birthday party. I mean, my birthday dinner. She stole my blunts or whatever, allegedly, because we don't know that to be true, but allegedly my blunts were stolen. So now next day is excursion day, right? And one thing I noticed about her, a common occurrence, is that the day would start off really good, like a high, and then it would dwindle down to like nothing. So on excursion day, I will not lie to you, she was a pleasure to be around. A very nice pleasure. Like, it seemed like things were starting to head in the right direction. But like I said, starts off well, then dwindles down to bullshit. So we went on our excursions, we went ziplining. It was all good. We came back to the hotel, we chilled, and then it was time to go to dinner, right? Now, at dinner, she's on her phone the entire time. And when I say the entire time, like the entire time, like she on FaceTime, talking to whoever she's talking to, hangs up with them, calls somebody else, get on the phone with them, hangs up with them, calls somebody else, get on FaceTime with somebody else, hang up with them, like type stuff. So it was very extremely rude to me because I come from a very traditional church household, and phones at the table is like, no. Even though we're grown and we all have kids now and we have our phones at the table because it's 2025, but we just not on full-blown conversations, multiple full-blown conversations at that, on the phone. And it was to the point where even my friends were like, this is kind of rude. And they're not even from traditional church homes and stuff like that. So yeah, girl, you were being rude. So that day ends, and now we're on the last day of the trip. And before we leave, we go to the bar for farewell shots. And when I tell you, we probably took like 5-6 shots each of Don Julio Reposado. So when I tell y'all, scoops were tore up, we were tore the fuck up. Like, scoops was done. All of us, like all of us. I will not sit here and lie. Every last single one of us was tore the fuck up. But we was having fun. Like I said, it starts off really well. We was having so much fun. We was in the car listening to Beyonce on the way to the airport. Like, it was really fun. And I was like, okay, things is turning around. Like, and I was so sad that what happened at the airport happened at the airport, because it was like the note ended off on a good trip at that moment until we got to the airport. So when I tell you we was running late to the airport, we was running late. Like, not late to where we would miss our flight, but late to where, like, if you don't hustle and bustle, the flight's gonna leave you type stuff. So when we got to the airport, we had enough time to get food. By the time we was getting our food from the people, our flight was boarding. So that just lets you know how much time we had left at this airport. We were so late. While we went and got food, she wanted to go get liquor. She'd been talking about it the whole trip, basically bringing some liquor back. So she went and did that while we went and got our food. So now when we get our food, we run into the boarding area because they talking about they boarding. She's closer to the boarding area, but more so next to a concierge. So I'm screaming to her like, Tommy, come on. They boarding. So I'm like, Tommy, come on. The plane's about to board or whatever. And she's like, hold on. But I can see visibly in her face that something's wrong or whatever. Or like she has an attitude. I don't know if something's wrong, but I can see in her face that she has an attitude. So now this is kind of where I went wrong. I would say I thought the attitude was with me. So I just left her alone and I went to my boarding area. You know, I'm the type of person, like, when people have attitudes, like, I just like to leave them alone, give them their space. Because I know when I have attitude, I don't want nobody talking to me. Like, please just leave me alone. Let me get myself together and then we can come back. And so when I saw that she had an attitude, I just, left her alone. And I'm like, we get on the same plane. We'll see each other on the plane, right? We get on the plane and they doing like final call for boarding. Like, she's still not on the plane. So I'm confused. I'm calling her like, where are you, girl? Like, what's going on? Right before doors were about to close, I see her walking on the plane. And I'm like, okay, good. She made it. Whew. But again, she has this attitude on her face. So I'm like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? She was like, no, I'm not okay. So I'm like, what happened? Like, I'm concerned for her now because, like, what the hell just happened? Like, we was all just like, cool. Like, what happened? So she tells me the story. So basically the story is she bought a bottle from the liquor store and the airport basically told her that she could not walk around with the bottle in the airport, which is normal practice for airports. But when she went to retrieve the bottle was broke. Now, I don't know how the bottle broke. She didn't specify how the bottle was broken. So I don't know if the concierge broke it or she broke it. I don't know. All I know is that when she went to retrieve the bottle, it somehow fell and broke. And now she was upset because they didn't want to refund her money and they didn't want to give her a new bottle. Now, when she told me that story, I totally understood where she was coming from because that's messed up. Like, I'm on her side with that. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm on her side. Like, if concierge broke the bottle, but I don't know the full story, I wasn't there. But the way she was telling it to me was like concierge broke the bottle. So I'm on her side. Like, that's not right. How they not gonna refund you or reimburse you, like something, give you something for what you bought? And they the one who made the rule that said you can't carry a bottle because if that's the case, she could have carried her own bottle and made sure it was safe, right? But then that doesn't even become the issue. She walks on the plane and she gets to her seat and she sees that someone is sitting in her seat. So that combined with the fact that she's already heated about her bottle, this just sends her over, like basically over her limit at this point. So she's staring at the girl, looking at her like, and when I tell you just standing there looking at her, like she's not saying nothing, and she's standing there for like 30 seconds. Like, it's not long, but it's long enough to where it's like awkward. So the flight attendant comes up to her and she's like, are you okay? So Tommy's like, no, I'm not okay. This girl is sitting in my seat. Now, disclaimer, when we had got on the plane, they had told us, like, this is not a full flight. So, everybody sit in their seats for checks and balances, basically. And then once that's done, we'll be able to, like, disperse people out. That's what the flight attendant told everyone. But she didn't hear that because she wasn't on the plane yet. Like I said, she was the very last, like when I say the very last person to get on this plane. She didn't hear that. And when I say she was the very last person on this plane, you would have thought that no other people was coming on this plane. So when they let other people sit in other people's seats, that's basically what happened. So let's say this is her aisle right here, and her seat was an aisle seat, and then right next to, on the opposite side of her aisle, was a row full of empty seats. So the flight attendant was like, "Oh, that's fine. Like, you could just sit right here. Like, you have a whole row to yourself. Like, that's no problem." She's not trying to hear it because she's mad about this bottle. So now she's on the plane giving hell to the flight attendants for basically no reason. So now she had a carry-on bag, and they're telling her, "Oh, you have to put your carry-on bag in like the carry-on overhead bins." So she's like, she's going through the bins, and most of them are like full in the back because there's like, a lot of people in the economy basically. So it's full. So she had to go to the front and put her bag up in the front. So she goes to the front and she sees how many empty seats is in the front. So she's walking through the cabin basically like, "Oh, why we all gotta sit in the back? Y'all put all the black people in the back." Now making it a race issue because the flight attendant is white. She's like, "You put all the black people in the back. Why we all back here like sardines? Y'all could space us out. Like, why can't I be in the front? Be in the front, this, that, and the third." Basically like, oh, they need to put her in the front because the person's in her seat and she don't want to sit where the people told her to sit. So the flight attendant is telling her, "You cannot make a disturbance like this on the airplane. Like, please go back to your seat, please sit down, buckle your seatbelt, and like, let's get ready for takeoff because you came on this really late." But she's pissed about this bottle, and now she's pissed about these seats. So she's just talking, like, she's not talking directly to the lady, but she's just talking out loud, being very hostile, aggressive, and everything. Now, I don't have no more time. I thought this would have been the last part, but there's so much more to talk about that happened on this flight. So come back for part 5, I guess. Now, this is part, I think, 4 of this girls trip saga. Hopefully this is the last part because honestly, I'm tired of it. So the last part I left on, I told y'all how the flight attendant basically told her, like, you cannot make a disturbance on the plane, so you gotta sit down, put on your seatbelt, and get ready for takeoff. So she sits down, and gets on the phone. She calls someone, and she's talking very loud, and the person is on speaker, and she's basically running down the story about what happened. She's talking about her bottle, and then she's talking about the girl who's in her seat. So the flight attendant comes up to her, and she's like, hey, can you take your phone off speaker, because you know you can't disturb other people on the thing, and we're about to take off, this, that, and the third. So she gets an attitude with the flight attendant and is like, oh, well, since when I can't have my phone on speaker, this, that, and the third, like, since when that ever been a rule? So the flight attendant is like, well, you're not supposed to be on the phone anyways, but all I'm asking you is to take it off the speaker so you don't disturb other people while we're taxiing and about to take off. So she's like, oh, I never heard that to be a rule. Now, personally, granted, they say that every time I get on the plane. Put your phone on airplane mode, don't be calling nobody. Like, they tell us that. Like, so I don't know what plane she was taking, but they definitely do tell you that. And the lady is like, I'm not asking you to not be on the phone. Like, I'm not even telling you that. All I'm asking you is just to take it off the speaker. And she's giving this flight attendant a hard time. She's basically making the flight attendants the issue about, like, she's basically making the liquor bottle the flight attendant's issue, and the flight attendants have nothing to do with that at all, right? So I guess the flight attendant saw when I had asked her what was wrong, and she was telling me about the seat. So the flight attendant takes it upon herself to come directly to me. She comes directly to me and says, she whispers to me, hey, is this your friend? I'm like, yeah. She's like, can you get her to calm down? Because if she doesn't, they're going to remove her from this flight. I'm like, oh my God. So I gets myself up and I go to her aisle and I squat down. Please keep in mind, I'm 300 pounds. So for me to squat down to talk to her, like, you know, it's serious. So I say, hey, they're basically saying, like, if you don't calm down, they're going to kick you off this flight. She's like, calm down for what? I didn't even do nothing. They're doing this, they're doing that. And I'm like, okay, I understand, that's cool, but we all have to get home. So regardless if you did something or not, if they want to be petty and kick you off this flight, they will. Don't give them a reason to. That's all I'm saying. Don't give them a reason to kick you off this flight. Sometimes as grown adults, we have to just let people have it, because wanting to be right all the time is not going to get you nowhere. Clearly, it's not going to. So after I return back to my seat, the girl then gets on a FaceTime call, another call. She calls someone else and telling them the story very loudly. Like, the lady just asked you to get off speaker. You get on a FaceTime call, and as we know, FaceTime is always on speaker. Unless you have headphones, FaceTime is always on speaker. She gets on another phone call right after she hangs up on the other person. She gets on another one and starts talking loud, screaming, and being aggressive, and all this other stuff. When she does that, I watch the flight attendant go from the back, and she walked right to the cockpit. That's when I text my other friend that's also on the plane with us. I said, they're about to kick this girl off the plane. When I saw her walk to that cockpit, I was like, yeah, it's over for her, baby. Like, it's no more. They're getting her up off this flight. The pilot then announces on the thing, he's like, everyone get ready for takeoff. But me, I've been around the block. Like, I've been around the block. I'm not stupid. He's only saying that to calm everyone down so there won't be no, like, breakouts of fights or anything like that. He's just telling everybody that. I know they're about to get her up off this flight. And I'm telling you, 5 minutes later, we look up, who's walking down the aisle? Policia. Here comes Policia coming down the aisle. So they basically go to her. And at this point, again, like I said, I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. So this is where I pull out my phone and start recording. Just for safety. Because I'm like, one, I don't want them to be like, we did anything. Or anything like I don't know who they called Policia on. I'm quite sure it was her, but they know we all together. So I don't want them to be like, oh, all of them, and then be like, oh, well, they all did this, they all did that. Like, I don't want them to be like, oh, we gave them problems, we was doing this, we hit somebody. Like, I'm just recording for our safety. So just in case anybody try to add stuff to the story saying we did this, we did that, that's not true. I have the video. So I start recording. They come to her, it's basically like, hey, we want you to get off this flight. She's not having it. I'm not getting off this flight. They're lying on me. She starts crying, tears. They're lying on me. I wasn't doing nothing. I wasn't, and I'm like, girl, you did do everything they told you. They said that you did. You kind of did do that. Babe, I was watching you the whole time. But, you know, I'm not going to say that because I'm not going to get her in trouble. But she's crying, playing victim. Like, I didn't do that. They lying on me. This and third. And police is like, look, they want you off this flight. It's nothing we can do. She's like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. So now it's, everyone has to deboard because we have to get this girl off the flight. So they let everyone get off. I stayed with her on the flight because I'm like, again, I'm not trying to be a bad friend, but you kind of put yourself in this situation, sis. I'm not trying to be a bad friend, so I stayed on the flight with her, and she's the last one to get off. So I'm the last one to get off because I'm walking behind her. I'm waiting for her. She gets off, and then I step off. Policia immediately surrounds her. They immediately surround her, And then the guy, and as I'm walking off, the guy was like, oh, well, y'all can get back on. She's off the plane. So we like, like, what the hell? Like, but again, me not being a bad friend, I stay right there where they have her like detained or whatever. So I'm waiting for them to tell us what the next steps are. So they start leading her down the jet bridge. So I'm calling out to her. I'm like, Tommy, like, where they taking you? What's going on? She don't even turn around to look back at me. And we're not far away. We're like right next to each other. I'm gonna show you, put the video at the end of this. But we're literally right next to each other. And I'm like, Tommy, where are they taking you? What's going on? She don't even turn around to acknowledge me. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I can take my ass home. I gotta get home to my kid. Like, so everyone gets back on the flight. We buckle up, we take off. So please keep in mind, again, still not being a bad friend, I'm texting her, I'm calling her while I'm on the plane, because I'm like, I want to make sure you're okay. And I'm trying to get in contact with her people also on Instagram to make sure that she gets some type of assistance. I'm not gonna stay in Mexico to assist her because I have obligations at home. I have a kid. That's why my mouth was closed. I have a kid to get home to. So somebody that fuck with her needs to help and assist her. So boom, I'm calling her, texting her, no answer. My friend is calling her and texting her, no answer. Mind you, we have her location because when we got to Mexico, we all put on each other's location so we could basically be aware of each other. We have her location, so we see where she's at. She's at the Mexican authorities place, whatever, the precinct. I don't know what they call it in Mexico, but that's where she's at. But she's not answering our calls or anything. So when we finally land, we get to see her Instagram stories. And basically she's on Instagram saying like, you know, she's in Mexican jail. She's going to update everybody, right? But when we land, one of my friends get a text from one of the guys, and basically guy saying, why did this girl just text us saying that, you know, if she dies or something like that, know that the Mexican police did it. So we're confused because we're like, girl, we've been texting and calling you. You have not responded to any text messages or anything that we sent, but we're confused because we're like, we've been texting you and calling you this whole entire time, worried about what the fuck going on with you, but you're not responding to us. But you're texting these boys being hella dramatic to my, oh, if I die, if I did it, just know that it's like, girl, you want attention. Like, you really just want attention. You don't feel like you're in danger. You don't feel like you're in harm. You just want someone to be on your BBL. Basically, that's what you want. You want someone to be on your BBL. And we're not going to do that. So once we saw that that's the type of vibe she was giving, we basically left it alone. Me and my friends, we left it alone. We got to New York. We went about our business. She was sitting in Mexican prison for 2 days, whatever fuck she had going on. And that was it. The girl made it back to New York. I still have her on Instagram, and I'm watching her Instagram because, again, I want to make sure she gets home safely. Like, I'm never that type of girl. I'm not going to leave you stranded. I'm not going to do none of that. And I'm going to make sure you're okay. So I'm looking at her stories. I'm trying to make sure that she gets home safe. And I'm looking at her location. I'm trying to make sure she gets home safe. But also, I'm leaving her alone because I don't know how she feels. She probably feels some type of way, and that's cool. So I'm going to leave you alone. But also, I'm also going to make sure you get home safely because you came on this trip for me. Allegedly. It doesn't seem like you came on a trip for me, but you came on this trip for me. So I'm going to make sure you're okay. Once I saw that she finally got home, I just left it alone. And then I see that I was unfollowed on Instagram, so I unfollowed her back. And that's just what it was. And that's just what it is. Like, we're no longer friends. She over there on her side, I'm over here on my side, and that's just what it is. I would never go on a trip with her again, and I wouldn't advise anyone to go on a trip with her because this is what's going to happen. So that's the end of the story. I'm also going to put the full video of her getting arrested at the end of this so you guys can see that. And yeah, like, that's just what it is. But also, guys, I also want to tell you, I have another trip, another Girls Going Wrong trip, Bali edition that I can tell you guys. Let me know if you guys want that story time, because that's some tea. And it took me 30 years to realize my friend was a weirdo. It took me 3 decades to realize it. But let me know if you guys want that Bali trip, girls trip going wrong, and I'll give it to you. Let me know.
Right, they lied on me and I'm not doing it. They said that I opened all of these things when there was no space for my luggage. They said I wasn't sitting in the right seat when this girl just moved just now, and they told me to sit back here, and now she's saying I can't be on the phone. I'm not moving out, y'all. I'm off the phone, I'm not moving. She's saying I'm not following flight instructions. How? Because I called my family to let them know she was discriminating against me? No, I'm not. He wants me to get off the plane. They lying on me, yes. They lying on me. She's lying on me. She's lying on me. I'm looking you dead in the eye. She's lying on me. That girl just got up and moved. Look at my boarding pass. When you came, she was sitting right here, 26C. That's the aisle. She moved. When I came there, she said, oh, you can sit in the back. I'm in the wrong seat right now because of her. She's upset. Like, what are you talking about? She's lying. No, I'm not moving. I don't trust you. I'm not moving. My luggage is not back here. No, my luggage is not back here because they said I was opening all the bins being belligerent. No, all the bins are crowded and my luggage is up there. You being racist? She's being racist and I'm not allowing it. I'm sorry. No. Nope. And I'm calling everybody, as a matter of fact. I'm calling everybody. I'm calling my family, I'm calling my mom, I'm calling everybody. I'm not getting no way. No way, no doubt. I'm not getting whatever. That's the way I got on this plane. She was in my seat and I told her. And it was mad that I was upset because my liquor spilled and they told me I couldn't bring on the plane. I'm not moving. I have video recording of everything. I opened each bin to put my luggage. And they make me put it up there. I'm not moving. I got to freaking throw something that's not fucking me over. No. You want to be a carrier, you can be a carrier.
I was going to make this trip hell for everyone because of the response that she got from the birth.
So this lady said that because I said I wanted to make the trip hell for the other people, that shows true character and clearly I'm the problem. Well, actually, forehead, it's actually Very normal and a very human reaction to want to hurt people who hurt you. That's a very normal reaction. It actually shows true character to still be hurt and choose not to. It shows character to choose to be positive even though your feelings are extremely hurt by other people. You're delusional. The easiest thing you can do to people is match energy. It's extremely hard to move on and put your feelings to the side and make things good for everyone else, even though you're hurting. The problem is y'all take information and then create narratives behind it based off of assumption. And that's probably why your hairline is on the back of your neck, because you're too busy thinking of ways to spin the narrative instead of taking the information that's given to you and trying to comprehend it. Please stop.
A fat woman, it's going to require for you to take the fruit.
So she says that, and then she posts this. Do you know how delusional you have to be to use someone's weight loss photos to fat shame them? Do you know how delusional and desperate you have to be? I don't know if your edges are snatching your brain cells as it's receding to your neck, or what, Megamind, Roger from American Dad. Like, was it your birthday trip? Because you're extremely upset. You look 40, first of all. I promise, babe, you cannot do this with me. You took my "you're ready for a challenge." I want you to understand something. I've been fat my entire life. I had to learn how to roast with the best of them. You will leave this TikTok app crying after I'm done with you. Nothing you can say about my body will hurt me. I love my body. I love myself. And then you talk about take appropriate steps to advocate for my body, which starts with a treadmill. But then you have beauty in your TikTok bio. Why haven't you advocated for your edges yet? The first step of that would be getting the hair oil and stimulating your follicles. This is how my hair looks. Very long, and I still have my edges. Okay? I can sell you my personal hair growth oil that grew my hair out. I don't know why you're so angry. I know you have a headache. Like, I know you do. Because you're putting too much tension on your scalp. Please just sit this one out. Because I've never seen someone who is so confident in their own skin and confident with their body not post it. You have not one body picture on your page. All of your pictures include your big ass forehead. We don't want to see it no more. Please get your head out of everyone's business. Please. You're not getting no likes from it. You're not making no money from it. Please sell your houses and go about your way.
I'm about to lose my shit. Oh, in this bitch. Oh, I'm about to quit. I'm about to quit. Oh, I'm about to lose my shit. Oh, in this bitch. Oh, I'm about to quit. I'm about to.
I'm finally caught up to the Bali 20-hour flight birthday trip story. This girl flew 20 hours to Bali, basically be told after the trip that she invited herself. Now, at first when she was giving the story, I was like, oh, sis, it is given that you invited yourself. But then when she provided the receipts, the girl looked like she actually wanted her to come. So I'm not sure. I feel like there was like a miscommunication breakdown somewhere in between them. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, I would never do a girl's trip. Like, I'm not doing French trips. There's nothing wrong with French trips. A lot of it, I'm not doing them anymore, only because everybody's literally so busy. I don't mind a good French trip, but it almost feels like there's so many things that have to go right at the trip to make the trip enjoyable. And it looked like in her situation, it didn't happen. I have invited myself on a couple trips before, and you could definitely tell the energy is different when you do it versus when someone says, hey, I'm thinking about you. I would like for you to come to XYZ with me. So I've definitely learned that lesson, and it's a hard lesson to find. But with this story time, she has the girl's name in the text message. I really feel like that girl I know it's gonna be crazy, but I really think that girl is gonna come out with her other side of the story and be like, hey, this is why she came to Bali and we had to give her a twin bed. Like, I don't know. And I don't know if there's like a time frame in which you could talk about a story like this because it's been a year. But I really feel like the way that TikTok is set up, like it's gonna land on that girl's feed. It is. And she's gonna come out and she's gonna explain herself. But when it's situations like that, I feel like now at my age, if I go somewhere and I just truly feel uncomfortable, and again, she said she was just determined to make the trip work. But me, like, either I'm just not going to go and lose my money, or I'm just going to pay for a flight home or call my airline, because I just feel like at this age now, like, I just don't want to be anywhere where I feel like I'm not 110% welcome. That's why I try, if it's not me planning it, then if I'm like inviting myself or saying, hey, I would like to come, I try to say, make sure it's okay for me to come. Make sure. And, you know, and even then I'm like, damn, I have to think like, damn, do I really want to go? Because of stuff like that.